When I say that nutrient, what's the first food group you think of? Got what? Got milk. Great marketing campaign. Here's some food for thought on calcium. We are the largest consumers of calcium supplements in the world per capita. Okay, you with me? We're the largest consumers of osteoporosis drugs in the world per capita. We're the second largest consumers of dairy per capita in the world. And we have the highest incidence of osteoporosis in the world. Like, figure out the math on that formula, right? Actually, calcium is not from calcium supplements. Calcium comes from being in here and pounding the bone marrow. And where calcium is created is inside the bone marrow. And if you're not using your bones, you're not creating calcium. So we have a sedentary culture. Thus, we have a calcium problem. And so what I try to do with this talk and put it in a performance narrative, because the language that I sort of lived my life as an athlete was performance. That's what gets athletes' attention. Athletes are ruthlessly practical, and they will do what works. And as we found out more recently, it might not always be legal, but athletes will do what works, right? EPO, blood doping, it works. That's why athletes, did it and are probably still doing it. And so the dilemma for athletes is how you can find the fundamentals and then find these tiny incremental advantages that you can maybe get a competitive advantage around. And one of the things now in the 21st century is athletes are really beginning to realize is food is a weapon. It is a weapon. And we're going to unpackage that a little bit. So we can have a lot of different conversations around food, and they're really fun. And the conversations get really passionate if you're into this sort of stuff, if you're a foodie, the more cocktails you have. But here's some of the conversations we can have around food. Now, consumption of food, patterns of eating food, we call dietary lifestyle, dietary patterns, the diets out there. These are some of the diet du jour conversations that we have. Within food, within diet, we deconstruct and break down into molecules, into nutrients. These are some of the fun conversations we can have about all these individual nutrients and what should I be taking. And you can kind of get the picture here, right? We're in the information age, and knowledge is the booby prize. Right? It's the application of knowledge that actually works. And in the end, it's usually just the application of what you already know, the application of fundamentals, because if you master those, they work. And so that's Humpty Dumpty right there. Humpty Dumpty's fallen off the wall and busted up into 1,000 different pieces, and all the king's horses and all the king's men are trying to build the bionic apple. Right?